There's no way the curse can touch me.
Hey, did somebody order a 95th iCarly video from Jordan Fringe?
Hi, it's so good to see you. Curse.
Poggers.
Welcome back to the iCarly bi-weekly discussion where I watch 2 of the most recent episodes of the iCarly revival, express my thoughts on them, and we have a big old discussion on what you think about them in the comments as well. We are now officially halfway through this season. That means a couple of things. 1, wow, we still have several more discussion videos to come, and 2, we are far enough into the series thus far for most people to make their full-on commitment to watch the rest of the season or jump out for good if it hasn't been up to their tastes. Firstly though, I want to give a huge thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. You can get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deal/JordanFringe and enter promo code JordanFringe for 83% off and an extra 3 months for free. Surfshark VPN is, well, a VPN, a virtual private network. It'll help you secure your digital life at an already great price, especially by using my code at the link down below. You'll get an incredible deal. Surfshark offers one of the best full coverage VPN packages out there, with use of an unlimited number of devices that can all run under one subscription at the same time. Literally as many devices as you want. With apps available on all platforms, PC, Mac, the Linux users out there, even smart TVs, video game consoles, web browsers, you name it, Surfshark has you completely covered. All along with 24/7 live customer support and a full 30-day money-back guarantee to make sure you know it's risk-free by giving them a shot. As well as their strictly no logs policy which encrypts your data, meaning that they do not keep any of it, nor does anyone know what you're doing online. A nice security measure in the digital age. Want to watch something that isn't streaming in your country, like perhaps iCarly like we're discussing in today's video? No problem. Just connect to any of the servers Surfshark has around the world and you'll be able to access libraries of content otherwise not available in your country. It's fast and easy to use, filled with features that go beyond just the basics with a regular VPN. If you want to protect yourself online while browsing as well as help support the channel, again, you can get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deal/JordanFringe and enter promo code JordanFringe for 83% off and an extra 3 months for free. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. So I hope you enjoy the video. Make sure to drop a like as it truly does help out the video, and I'll grant you 3 wishes if you do. See terms and conditions for details. Jordan Fringe does not contain any magic like genie powers and cannot grant any wishes, but like the video anyway. Alright, so let's get into episode 6, I'm Cursed. This episode focuses on Carly's 27th birthday. For her birthday, she always sends her friends away so she can be alone, with a pie to celebrate due to her birthday curse that happens every year. Someone always gets hurt, or something goes majorly horrible. Here's where we get the cameo we were teased in the trailer from Principal Franklin, Carly and Freddie's old school principal from the original series, who here we find retired. He delivers them notes that they wrote to their future selves as kids in school. Young Carly wishes future Carly would get past her birthday curse and is essentially thriving, and Freddie's note consists of him thinking that he would have had a party boy filled 20s and he should now be focusing on getting married and having a kid and getting into the businesses he wanted to start. And this is where he begins his existential crisis that he already did all of that and spent no time having fun throughout his 20s. Carly decides after some thinking that maybe she does need to slowly do something other than eat pie alone for her birthday, but only a small step towards that, because we don't want a repeat of the traumatization that the goat caused her.
Don't talk about what the goat did! We don't talk about the goat!
While working at Skybucks, Harper has a run-in with her fashion idol Alex Xavier. She's a bit nervous to the point where she can't utter any real words, and now goes by Murphin. And also, nothing is being written right here. I can see the board, the chalk, and her hand in frame just fine, showing that there is no contact between any of that. Alright then. When Spencer overhears that Carly wants to very slightly overcome her birthday superstitions, he interprets that as that he has to throw her a large birthday party and change up everything to really push Carly past the idea of having her birthday cursed. He lets Harper in on the plan and she's very hesitant at first, but when Spencer admits to knowing Alex Xavier and that he could come, Harper quickly changes tune. Freddie is dealing with his own crisis from earlier to the point that he will spend the remainder of this episode slowly falling into a lifestyle he wishes he could have experienced. He finds Millicent's hidden stash of stuff at Spencer's apartment and takes the skateboard found there and jets out of the apartment. This sends Freddie spiraling throughout the rest of the episode as this rebellious punk skater type that we will discuss again momentarily, but back to Carly's apartment, we see her being overly superstitious about even heating up her pie that she was about to eat, and then quickly gets interrupted by a text from Spencer, who she assumes is away with everyone else, to go over to his apartment down the hall to water his plants. he forgot. To Carly's utter despair, she opens the door to a surprise party filled with a bunch of people, Principal Franklin, and the rest of the main cast who are supposed to be away with Spencer for Carly's birthday. After some convincing to go along with it, Carly takes extra, like way extra precautions and gets wrapped up in bubble wrap, cut up and fashioned nicely by Harper. This causes Xavier to remark how amazing it is, and Harper remaining speechless still. Freddy joins the party with his newly found skater friends and Iguana and instantly is living another life, dressed from a different era, speaking lingo he would never say, and completely getting chiz-faced to the point where he pukes onto Xavier. But now here's Harper's chance to finally build up some courage to properly speak to him. They leave the apartment and head back to Harper's after getting past the party bouncer, Duke. Yes, that is the same Duke from the original show from episodes like I Like Jake, I Hatch Chicks, and I Spy a Mean Teacher. That was a fun throwback to get the original actor for a fun cameo bit. But since his name is Duke and Freddy is all hip now, he calls him,
"Hey, what's up, D-bag?"
when saying hi. Yeah, cool little moment bringing this character back and having some fun for this bit. Like, Duke here gets a bigger role than Principal Franklin, who just stands in the background for the remainder of the episode. Carly, however, is sat down with a mystic who Spencer set up, and when tarot cards are placed in front of her, she pulls the Death card, the worst card to flip over for her reading. But to get past the curse, Zagnut needs an item to represent the curse as a whole, which Carly pulls out the letter she actually wrote to herself from the beginning of the episode. She places it on a tray, and after some
vanilla latte,
the letter combusts into flames and burns up. The curse in Carly's eyes seems lifted. She notices that nothing has gone wrong yet and rips off the bubble wrap outfit. But as soon as she leaves and turns her back, Zagnut passes out face first into the table and is revealed to have had an aneurysm, with this line,
"What do you mean aneurysms are the #1 cause of death for party performers?"
a nod to the first Nora episode from the original iCarly, I, Psycho, where the clown at that party dies of an aneurysm. So at least the show is on brand with that one. Spencer spends the rest of the episode trying to hide the fact that Zagnut is dead. Even when the paramedics come to take the body away, he tries distracting everyone so they can sneak in and grab the body. He even tells Freddy to crowd surf, which makes him jump off the pool table, to then mention his neck feels weird. That'll play a role at the end. Back at Harper's apartment, she helps Xavier get cleaned up and plays an audio recording of her telling him why she is so speechless around him and why it's been so hard for her to remember what forming a sentence is like. He takes her hand and helps her to form said sentence to let out what she really wants to say, and she admits to creating the bubble wrap dress for Carly, the one that he loved and was blown away by, and is now blown away by that fact that she made. And now back at the party, we see him in a pretty cool bubble wrap tuxedo combo made by Harper, and thanks to Xavier, after all that Spencer went through hiding from Carly that Zagnut had died, right after getting this nice speech she gave him all about how much she appreciates Spencer and exclaims the curse is broken, Xavier asks in front of them if he can have the headpiece Zagnut wore because, well, he's dead now and won't need it. The scene thus ends with Carly staring angrily at Spencer before cutting to the next day as Millicent, who is vlogging to her future self similar to the notes Carly and Freddy wrote to themselves, albeit horizontally for some reason. We know your generation is all about the verticality. Come on, Millicent, what are you doing here? Anyway, she shows off her dad Freddy recovering from a hangover, the neck pain, and the whole alternative lifestyle he tried to live for a day. And then the episode ends in iCarly revival fashion. No real consequences, no full outcome of everything that happened, and no iCarly web show at all. Now, the show doesn't need the web show to work. Clearly they have established the show, at least nearly halfway through, is about the characters during their current day lives facing relatable circumstances to the age range that grew up with them. It would be nice to see Carly navigate the social media space like we saw glimpses of early on, especially in episode 3, I Apologize, but it is becoming clearer with each episode that the show has moved away from that, at least for now. Maybe episode 7 that we're about to discuss here will bring in that aspect, or maybe within the second half of the season to come, but for now it kind of remains to be seen. The episode itself is a story we've seen plenty of times before, two characters faced with their past having to deal with their own issues pertaining to them. One is dealing with something from the past that they haven't reconciled with, while the other is making up for time that they feel they've missed. Usually this would result in these characters learning something by the end of the episode, or at least getting past their own issues, but not here. Carly literally learns that, oh wait, the curse we worked all episode to help get me past, to face my own trauma, is still here apparently. And then that's it, episode over basically. Freddy may have learned his lesson based on the implied moment of him in pain recovering the following day, but that's how it ends, very abruptly. But there is still something about the abrupt ending of these episodes that are kind of, I don't know, rubbing me in a weird way. The show is not on regular cable, it's on a streaming service. One thing I like about a lot of shows on streaming services is that they don't abide by the rules of said cable. If the story in the episode they want to tell is 35 minutes or 56 minutes, or even if it's only 23 minutes, streaming has allowed the story to be the focus of the runtime and not the restraints of network television. So I would like a show like this to not feel like they are forcing the episode to end at a specific point. Like they're not even quickly wrapping up everything to just fill it in at the end. They're just ending it at some points. I would have loved to have seen Carly deal with the birthday curse situation in a legit way that shows her that the superstition shouldn't control her life, or that she is going to be fine believing everything was okay and can live with that mindset that the curse was all in her head, or any sort of growth for where the plot was leading. And what about Harper and Alex Xavier? Arguably the best parts of this episode. Where do they go? Does she get an internship or a job with him? Does she further her fashion career after making a huge connection like this and impressing him? Where did all of this lead to? What about Freddy? Aside from the end where we just see him in pain, what about the realization that his life didn't pan out the way he thought it would, but how much he loves and appreciates what he has in it right now? His daughter, his friends, a constant 5 o'clock shadow, anything. I know this is a sitcom, I don't take it as serious as like a full drama series, but by cutting out the traits that make the characters get to the point by the end of an episode presented at the start, it makes it feel as if you gave me the opening and middle of a good book but ripped out the last few pages minus maybe the last sentence or two. I want the meat here.
I've never seen dried beef make a boy so happy.
I just want a little more, and I'm very grateful and I'm having fun with what's given. I still really like the episode, but I don't feel we went anywhere with anything by the end of it. And please don't take my criticism as me disliking the show. It's me enjoying a lot of what's offered and wanting more of it. I just want to see this revival succeed and give fans, myself included, the revival we deserve for these characters. I really feel if we loosen the restraints of the runtime and allow the stories to be told a little bit more naturally, there can be something truly special here. So now let's take a look at the most recent episode as of making this video, episode 7, I Need Space.
The other day, I left with Fringe.
Sounds cute.
Wow. So I just watched episode 7 a couple times, and I have to say, bravo! Everything, literally everything we just spent the past several minutes discussing was addressed and in most cases improved upon. But before we get into all of that, what happened in this episode in general? Here we have Carly and Harper's apartment in a mess, clothes everywhere, and clearly it's bugging Carly a bit. Harper is frantically trying to work on her lookbook as she has an interview for a fashion gig and needs to get this done in time. Freddie and Millicent come over and she is dressed up in a scout uniform as Freddie had put her in the Sunshine Girls, which is essentially just the Girl Scouts. She's very hesitant to want to be a part of it, but Freddie is excited for it as he's looking forward to spending more quality time with her. Spencer comes barging in from a rather productive night and is excited to keep seeing this woman, Argentina. Harper and Carly essentially force Spencer to let Harper go and share the creative space where she still shoots iCarly back at Spencer's apartment. So now over there we have Carly trying to focus on editing a video for her channel. It's a marshmallow challenge video, while Harper is trying to clean up and steam her outfits. This starts causing a divide in the air as neither can focus with the other either being too loud or too smoky. Downstairs, Spencer is hanging out with Argentina as she gifts him a digital assistant pod, basically like a Google Home or an Amazon Alexa type device, voiced by her. She mentions her knowledge of iCarly to Spencer and looks forward to hopefully meeting her at some point. At the same time, Carly and Harper come bickering down the stairs until their argument is broken up by Argentina. And then it's revealed that Argentina is the person behind Leap In.
It's a ladies-only co-working space to propel women into corporate powerhouses.
Yeah, that mouthful. But it's this fusion of everything that attracts Carly and Harper to go and check it out and see if it's for them per Argentina's invite. Back with Freddie and Millicent, we find Freddie aiding in snacks and refreshments for the troupe as the leader tells them about their fudge ball drive. And Millicent questions that they have to do all this work to make no money and only earn a badge. And this kind of starts a mini uprising as Freddie stands with her, and we next see her and Freddie running a full-on cupcake operation. And a true moment of bonding between the two as she likes having him around, and he is genuinely proud of her for doing all of this on her own. From seeing her clearly struggling to relate and fit in with the other girls in the Sunshine group, to now showing her confidence in running this business is great character development. Now back at Leap In, all is too good to be true. Everything seems to be a bit too perfect, and when Carly gets a moment alone, her friend Toji, who happens to be there, comes up to her, and when no one is fully around, she breaks down exclaiming that this is not what it looks like and not to be fooled into, well, not sign up. Yes, apparently it's a cult, but we don't know know just yet what makes it so cult-like behind the scenes. Harper, however, is having a great time and is sold on joining, while Carly clearly is not. Argentina ends up breaking down how she can help focus Carly and knows all the statistics regarding her content. The first real moment we've heard some real tangible numbers. She also expresses interest of coming onto her show. Something to remember right there for later. But Carly notices that some things aren't starting to add up though, with Spencer and Harper either dealing with or manifesting get solved or granted to them, and some things start to make themselves more apparent to her. Freddie, however, starts getting fully back into his business mode where he doesn't even accept his own daughter's drawing as a viable logo for the company and starts losing sight of why they both were doing this in the first place. He begins just focusing purely on the business side and how to grow the company rather than the wants and needs or just the fun of doing this business with his daughter. During Carly and Harper's next visit to Leap-In, Carly learns about the super secret room that no one's allowed in, and Harper is becoming fully brainwashed into the experience of Leap-In. But Carly wants to know the truth. She finds a way to get an access card to sneak into the secret room, only to find Argentina watching and listening to multiple monitors. Carly calls her out, and the bad person gives their bad person speech about their real ploy, which all along was to make the real money off of all these women by not just knowing what they say and do, but by selling their personal data to companies and corporations. She tells Carly that she better put her on iCarly so she can manipulate to the masses about Leap-In to keep growing the company and make more money. But of course, Carly refuses, but that lookbook that Harper's been putting a bunch of work into, well, Argentina has the thumb drive with all of the work on it and threatens to destroy it. So in good person Carly fashion, she gives in and they head back to Spencer's apartment. Back to Millicent, who is having a meeting when Freddie walks in to check on the business, and the whole board has voted him out of the company. She fired her dad. She also chose to close the company, and they have a real heart-to-heart that brings them closer than ever before, as he now knows that he lost sight of what made the ordeal special in the first place, and she has proven to herself that she is capable of great things and is happy when her dad is proud of her. When Spencer is setting up a sculpture at Leap-In, Harper runs into him and he accidentally finds and opens the secret room, exposing the knowledge of what's really going on there. There's a live feed from the digital assistant back at his apartment playing on screen that shows Carly and Argentina talking, as she fully admits that she was only using Spencer to get to Carly all along. Yeah, you can say it was Argentina all along. No, that doesn't have the same good ring to it as Agatha. Anyway, as they are rushing back to the apartment, we see Carly fumbling with the camera telling Argentina how she's not used to the tech side of things, and that's more of Freddie's thing. Argentina then makes fun of how in current day she still needs someone else to help her with that. Harper and Spencer rush in to help confront her, and Carly insults how basic of a plan Argentina had, which gets her to go into full detail and explain what her products do, what her plan is, and how she was going to globally continue her operation. And of course, Carly reveals she recorded the whole thing, so this sparks a deal for Harper to get her thumb drive back in exchange for the footage not seeing the light of day. But not before some meta commentary on the show we are watching right now, of course.
Maybe a mini-series on a premium streaming network?
10 episodes, maybe even a second season.
And Spencer, well, he's down bad.
I don't mind if you still want to spy on me.
But by the end of the day, he does a great thing for Harper by emptying out his walk-in pantry so Harper can use it as a workspace. Another great sign of the better friendship Spencer and Harper have been forming. Millicent continues her strive of paving her own successful business path while Freddie supports her, and then the episode ends. This time, not abruptly. Okay, now I can fully gush on everything I feel this episode did right. It used its full runtime, even extended it a bit longer, but only by a little bit, to tell a bigger, more exciting, more meaningful written out plot. It didn't let dead air go to waste. Each scene feels jam-packed with legitimately important moments that are pushing the story forward and at the same time expanding the universe as a whole further. The fact that we finally bring back the iCarly web show but in a new way here is great. Seeing Carly edit a challenge video for her channel. We even learn about her statistics, learning that she has 3 million subscribers for her modern day content. Like, sure, this is little information that I feel we should know to fully believe in the moments portrayed in the show. We just now know that we're not necessarily on the grind that we were expecting to see her have to go through in modern day, but it gives us a new outlook and perspective on her relevance online right now. Argentina is a great villain for Carly. She weaponizes other women by the promise of empowering them, but only because she is so empowered herself to do so. She gives off this real powerful energy in multiple scenes that scare the others in the scene. Her plan was at least leagues better than Neville's wedding trick a couple episodes back. I really do hope this isn't the last we see of her. The relationships here were great, seeing Millicent and Freddie getting closer and learning more about who Millicent really is and who she wants to be is a huge jump from where she was at the start of the show. Harper and Carly having another feud, this time not as serious as they truly have each other's backs in a do or die situation. It's just great to see. Heck, Spencer and Harper continue to catch my attention as they are so much more friendly and there for each other than they were, once again, at the start of the show. One thing I was very happy to see, one of my personal complaints as of recent, is how it used its story to drive the pace of the show. It wasn't quickly wrapped up, it didn't end on a weird note that didn't give us closure. It fully ends the episode's plot and then gives us the aftermath of that plot and the impact of what the episode had applied before. The characters are all running at the best they've been here. Spencer really has never missed, but he wasn't just the only standout here. It felt like every character held their own and was properly used for the story and their own character development. And I am so happy to see this growth. Right at the halfway mark, giving me faith that hopefully the majority of the remaining episodes give us the same energy as this episode did. I've already watched it 3 times before working on this part of the video. It's probably my favorite episode thus far, and I got that spark I needed to see just to know how serious they are on making something that isn't just a fun revival, but a meaningful new foray into a modern day zeitgeist. Having the villain's plan being based on selling your data so corporations can target ads at you is a plot that makes sense for today. Most of the other plots so far can be placed at any point in time. You can mistake them for plots in the original show. But here, this felt like it made sense. The situations felt more adult, and once again, thanks to the threatening aura of Argentina and how the characters handle the situation. The meta commentary was funny, lessons were learned by characters, real progression on all aspects of the show moved forward here, and that's why overall I am so hyped on this episode. Now I know I shouldn't expect the exact same level of craftsmanship within every upcoming episode now, but I am very excited to hopefully somewhat continue this momentum. Well, that was the past 2 weeks of the new iCarly revival series. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the show below in the comments. How are you liking the series after 7 episodes? Is it hitting the right notes for you? Is it not? I'm genuinely curious to hear where you're at this time with the show as a whole. I appreciate you checking out this video. It means a lot to me that you choose to spend a few moments of your day here. Hit the like button if you want to see more videos like this, and again, it truly helps out the video. I'll be back every other week with a brand new iCarly revival video discussing the past 2 weeks of new episodes, as well as when season 1 is over, a larger discussion on the show in general. Subscribe to be part of my journey through movies and television and how these films and shows affected my life from the past and present. I'll be back soon with another video, but until then, later.